Welcome to Channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrating to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on a little bell on the side so once we have all the updates and news, you'll be the first one to getting all the insight. Now recently I've received a very interesting media article in regards to how the passports ranked, and seems to be Australia's passport is ranked one of the worst in the world. Well, let's take a look how they assess and how they rank the passport Australia to be one of the worst, and we'll also have a look about the background of the Australian passport currently and how it has been utilized around the world. So last but not least, let's have a look. This news actually came from news.com.au, which is one of the major news media in Australia. Now what's happening here? I think it's about the time for elections, so there are some very interesting topic to be written by these news reporters. So this came out on the 27th of April, although it's not really vital about visa, but it's actually kind of interesting. So the title says Australian passport given 6th worst value of money ranking in the world. So it's actually calculating against the value of money that you actually spent to actually get this passport and how this passport could allow you to access. Now obviously that's not really the goal of my channel, but I think it's very interesting. So this is for traveling person view, because of the a lot of the countries, developing countries, the access of their passport has actually been promoted over the past 10-20 years. So obviously the usage of passport for Australia and also a lot of Western countries is not as well. It used to be very convenient, but because of other passport, it's becoming convenient as well, but probably not as convenient as Australian passport, but cost-wise. That's what they're trying to compare with. So a new travel study has given Australian passport one of the worst value for money ranking in the world following the survey of 48 countries. So what's happening here? So it says the Australian passport has been rated one of the least valuable in the world, with the new study placed 6th last. I wonder who's the last one. In a survey of 48 countries, travel package website Parks Sleep Fly analyze the best and worst value of money with passport. Obviously, to migrate to Australia and obtain and become a citizen and get a passport is actually a very, very tough and obviously costly procedures. And that's the reason for the birth of this channel, right? Because it's just so complicated. Obviously, the value of the money and compared to where you can actually utilize this passport access with for traveling purpose. But what about migration? What about all the other national security and benefit for citizens? That is not actually calculated in this article. So anyway, let's have read from 48 countries across globe. I'm not too sure why 48. Why not 200? Anyway, factoring the cost of power, number of country to hold a visit visa free, or with a visa arrival. So again, if we're talking about visa free, passport like Singapore, Japan, Korea, Hong Kong, Taiwan, well, it's, and you access to a lot of country with visa free nowadays. However, if we're looking at the benefit of how the passport actually given to you as a family, not as a traveler, that's a different point of view. But anyway, Australian came 6th worst with only 2.56 out of 10 for their score. Well, that's very low. Our country of passport finished behind Romania with a value of 2.77 and Caribbean island 2.66. Australia had equal best mobility score, bottom of 10 at 146. A holder able to travel 100 3 countries visa free and 53 where visa is required on arrival. But that's pretty good. But what they're trying to say is there are a lot of other country passport could actually do that as well. Well, because of thanks to the globalization. So, but the Australian passport was third most expensive out of 48 countries. Again, how do they compare that? First of all, how much is the money that you're gonna pay when you are renewing for a passport? That's one thing they do it. And the other thing is, if you're looking at how one could migrate and become a citizen and get a passport, which is a very complicated process, and the cost requires, and that's where Australia goes to the worst. So it's actually good news for Australia in another way. Why? Because it's hard, and if you get it, you got more benefits. See where the point of my view is going from. But anyway, if it's gonna just for traveling purpose, probably not the best. You can see here is the 6th worst. So all these countries, San Marino, Mexico, Canada, and Chile are the only countries finished with the worst. Canada, 2.13. Wow. What about USA? I'm not too sure where they put them there. And the United Arab with a 10, Sweden 8.94, South Korea, Spain. Now the problem is these countries, UAE, Sweden, South Korea, and Spain, are not traditionally a preferable country for people to actually migrate with as well. So, and that's what I'm saying. The news is great. It's a very interesting topic that we just gone through with. Obviously, they're comparing with the cost of the passport against where the country and traveling purpose, that if you're a frequent traveler, you would love to travel around the world. Australian passport probably not the best to actually get for traveling purpose. But if it's going to be migration, settlement, life, family, well, that's probably another point of view from this side. But anyway, let's go in and have a look about the Australian passport website, which has been designed. I think it's very good. It wasn't like this, but it's getting more and more convenient. And previously, how one could actually apply for a passport, you need to go to Australian Post Office, and then there's a huge deck of forms you're required to complete and post it. Pay, I'm not too sure, 200, 300 Australian dollars, and that's how costly that is. And you can get a 5-year. I mean, how many pages are those ones? They are choices that you can make. So that's the currently all the passport required is go through website, which is very, very convenient compared to a lot of other countries, and that's what you pay for. And there's a very interesting fact here. Let's have a look at this one. So passport fact, that's the most recent one with 2020-21 during pandemic. I'm not too sure what they are doing, some fact checked during pandemic. So the passport issued was 603,464 passport were issued. Now look at that. Now that obviously doesn't count with the new migrants, because that's for a lot, including all the people want to renew. So it looks like a lot of people are traveling. A lot of Australians are traveling. That's around 2,400 each business day. Wow, look at that. A little bit crazy. You think about if you divide that into, I don't know, 8 hours per day. How many hours do they print a passport out? Wow. Over 80% of these applicants use online service, so it's very good now. And 18,333 people have their passport issued in 2 days plus delivery. I'm not too sure if I get that service there. And 13.5 million people, so that's more than half of Australians hold their current passport. Some of them probably don't have. Some of them have their passport expired. And what's this one? End to end, the number of passport we printed was stretched 100 kilometers of full distance between Earth in the space. Interesting. So they're printing a lot of passports. 489 passports were lost or stolen overseas. Well, that's not too good. 1,278 emergency travel documents were issued. 43 passports were cancelled. I don't know how that happened. I'm not too sure if you can read that. Let me move that up a little bit. And 260 passports refused on law enforcement national security ground. Wow, there's some criminality going on there. Top 5 countries lost their passport overseas. Well, the first one is China. Wow. And the second one is United States. And the third one is United Kingdom. And fourth one is New Zealand. The fifth one is Germany. Stolen passport. Okay, United States. Wow. I wonder why people will get steal passport for. New Zealand, Greece, Kenya, and Germany. Interesting fact, isn't it? Anyway, this is for our channel, for our video today, and make sure you subscribe to our channel. Learn more about how we can migrate to Australia. And today's video is more about some fun articles, news articles, and some fun fact checks for you. Anyway, should you have more question, query, more than welcome to leave a comment right down below, and I'll see you next video. Goodbye.